Julia, yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
You good? Okay. We are going to call to order the meeting of Administration and Legal Affairs Committee Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. 2.0 prayer. Anybody like to? Otherwise, I will. I will.
No.
Oh, you can do it, Nate?
I can do it.
All right, we'll do it. You can do it.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another opportunity to gather together, Lord, to handle the county's business. We just pray that you give us wisdom and guidance as we go through this meeting from beginning to end. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thanks, Nate. All right, 3.0 approval of agenda.
Move approval.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. And then 4.0 approval of meeting minutes from March 12th, 2025.
Move approval.
And I second.
And a second. All right. Sounds good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. 5.0 claims, approval of claims. I got a total of $43,914.05 from me here.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Second. And a second. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We're cruising here. All right. 6.0 public comments. No one else is here. How about 7.0 departmental reports? 7.1 county treasurer.
Thank you. So just to give you, of that 43,914 in claims, I went up a little bit this month, $1,907. All within my budget. I just want to highlight a couple of things that I did budget for. After consulting with IT Director Louie last year, we realized I needed to replace my laptop from 2016. I got a great deal on a great machine, so, and the IT people have taken good care of me, it's all set up. I also had to replace the projector. I don't know if you all remember, like when you're doing budgeting with the finance director, that projector is on for hours. And those bulbs are incredibly expensive, so it actually turned out to be cheaper for me to buy a brand new wireless projector than to replace the bulb. So that's why those are a little more, and I paid for some of that out of my pocket to get a better deal with some of the coupon codes that I have, so that's why some of it's reimbursing me rather than paying for them directly.
Okay.
Financial report, so hopefully you've all had a chance to review this. I sent it, I think I have the wrong date here to myself. I think I sent it last Wednesday for you. Good news this month, total county funds as of the end of March were only down over February by $151,000. But we did also receive the circuit clerk's state IT grant, so that pushed things up by $636,000. So still, you know, irrespective of that, we'd only be down 0.54% month over month. So really, really solid month, I think. On the investment side, we only had 2 that matured during the month of May, benefiting Social Security and liability to the tune of $6,100 in interest. Currently 29 different investments in place, 3 of which I made yesterday. We have maturity dates ranging from this month through the end of October. At the end of March, the value of invested funds was $10.6 million. I actually did also just renegotiate interest rate across the board with one of our financial institutions to raise every account by a full percentage point.
Good.
So really excited about that. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. And then quickly moving to the collector side, prepayment of property taxes continues a little bit longer, actually till the 21st. Given the hard work of the assessor and the clerk, I'm hopeful that tax bills will be mailed sooner this year and really hard targeting a late June first installment date. For many, many, many years, it always was late June. COVID threw that schedule out of whack, and we've been trying to catch back up ever since. And the biggest problem is actually with the Department of Revenue. That's been our for weeks because they're only still in the office 3 days, and they won't really answer your questions unless they're there.
Nice.
So, yeah. So we're slowly making our way back to the schedule that we had had for many, many, many years. The second installment will still remain in September, so.
Oh, that's
Due date doesn't change though, right?
Oh, yeah. The due date changes every year.
Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
okay, so.
It's always.
Just mail them
yeah.
earlier, who cares? Never
Yes.
mind.
Targeting that due date, targeting and hopefully, earlier mail date, obviously, is to give people the same or a different amount of time. You know, I don't want to compress the amount of time that people have from the time they get the bill to the time that it's due. So that's why I'm trying to get them out sooner. Even if they come in sooner, you still have the same amount of time between there to pay. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that to you. Although legally, 30, the soonest I could have the due date is 30 days from the day I mail them. I would not ever do that.
Sure,
no.
yeah.
So that's
good.
asking a lot. So a second installment again will be September. So we're still working out those details. We're just waiting on state to give us some information, and then the magic moves to Jasmine, and away we go. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
All right, I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 7.2, county clerk.
Following up on that extension, once I get the final multiplier, I'm hoping to start extension. Been working, the only thing that hasn't been completed is the enterprise zones. I've been working with Angie and Andrea to create an enterprise zone certification that lays out the years, the amount. There's been some issues with enterprise zone previously and prior to all three of us being in our current position. So I think this form will fix that going forward. Just making sure all three of us are on the same page, has a certification that's not just going through email. And there's the different ways that the information is being forwarded between the three of us. So I think this form will fix the enterprise zone moving forward for years to come. In the report this time, I included a little bit of what's going on our recording side. You'll see we recorded 544 documents in the month of March. And then if you look at the revenue stamps, it shows for the county side, 600, 271, and a little over 12,000 for the state. Compared to last March, those numbers are up, but the year usually does start off a little bit slow. Just in comparison, the highest month we had in 2024 for the county was October, and that was 18,900. So the year does start off a little bit slow with the revenue stamps that we collect. And I think what people may be looking forward to the most is the election recap. The election went extremely well. We did the retabulation this morning, and that went well. There is 2 races in Stephenson County that are very close. We have one tie in Wadhams, that's for the trustee position, and then Village of Lena, there's someone up by 1 vote. So the vote by mail can come into our office up until April 15th. And then we will certify the election results on the 16th.
I have a question.
Sure.
Jasmine, how did all those write-in candidates, how did that go? I mean, was that difficult to process?
Yeah, and I can touch on that. So people will say, why does it take a little bit longer? This is a much smaller election. If you look at the turnout a little bit, in November, we had 77% voter turnout, and we had 28% in this election. So why is it taking longer for those results to get online, Jasmine? The write-ins, if you see, there's a lot of write-ins that we have in Stephenson County. Every write-in has to be, how you wrote the name, it's printed out on a receipt. So if you think of a receipt roll, almost the whole receipt roll was utilized in Lena for our early vote machine and some of the locations in Freeport. So every single name that is wrote at that location has to be printed, and then the judges have to tally it and bring it back here. So that's what takes a little bit longer for this election with all those write-ins. I think the last location was in our office at 9:20 on election night, and we had those results up 15 minutes later. So we have to wait till they get back here to get the results online. But it's a very manual process. Even once we do the tallying to enter the results, it's candidate per precinct, election day, early vote, vote by mail. So it's a very tedious process to get all those results online as well.
Is everything up online now?
Yes,
Okay,
the write-in results
write-in
were up
ones.
on Monday.
okay, cool, thank you.
It just, there's so many write-ins and you want them to be accurate, and I'd rather make sure it's right than, I think, it may be, there was a time that the tally results were shown online and then later turned out that those results were not the actual results, and, I don't want that to happen. So
No.
I'd rather wait a little bit to make sure that they're accurate.
Any more other questions? Okay. All right, keep going here. 7.3 Supervisor of Assessments. She's not able to attend tonight. She did send out an email. I gotta find it. Sorry. Where did she have that? All right, buttons ain't working here.
Yeah, I saw it
The
here.
operator.
Want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, and now I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
I did not send an activity report out because it is quiet time of year in my office. Still waiting on the state for the final multiplier. I did have some interactions with the state today, so I hope by the end of this week, beginning of next week, to have the information so Jasmine can finish her part of the process and then Stephanie can start her part of it. The only new development in the office is that Cammie and Forrest are out collecting data in Harlem Township for 2025 assessment year.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for that vibrant reading. Yes.
Yes.
Lively.
Lively. Okay, 7.4 County Administrator.
Thank you. Currently working on contract renewals with the Director of Zoning and Building, as well as our EMA Director. My next ILCMA regional meeting is going to be hosted in Stephenson County, and that'll be on April 17th. So excited about that. There was a land bank meeting on March 26th. Thank you to Chairman Helms who attended on my behalf. I was out with the hand. So IT grant, we discussed at the department head meeting this morning. Next month, Access Systems will be at the department head meeting as kind of a meet and greet, I guess, just kind of introducing themselves to everyone since we had been with Gordon Flesh for a while. That way, before the on-site setups get underway, they at least have an opportunity to introduce themselves to everyone. So, the wellness screenings, today was the last day. Initially, the numbers were down significantly from last year, but I think we rallied and will be pretty close, if not a little bit over what the numbers were last year. There was a lot of rally the last week or so of registration, so I'm awaiting the final numbers and that final report. So once I get that, I'll speak on that. Thank you to the assessor and Beth here for help with locating those properties and outliers that the county owned within the city limits that the finance committee and board will be taking up as far as transferring to the city. Finally, think we have our hands, I'm almost afraid to say that out loud, but this morning was our department head meeting, other than who would be there next month, reminding everyone that the final field work on our audit is the week of the 25th, making sure everyone updates that capital asset listing. We know there's been a lot of updates going on, a lot of equipment being bought, and a lot of infrastructure that we just want to make sure we get everything accounted for in that. There was a couple departments that had some outlying things that needed to be addressed. So got emails of them this afternoon after they were reminded today that looks like they're making progress on that. So hopefully that field work will wrap up fairly quickly after that, and we'll be able to move forward with that. We did discuss ICRMT is hosting a labor law educational conference. There is a number of department heads that are going. They offer these periodically and they are free since we are members of ICRMT. Julie Brook, who is one of the labor attorneys through IFMK that the county works with regularly and has walked many department heads through employment law situations, is who is putting on the event. So there is a number of us planning to attend. Looking forward to that. We discussed budget policy and proposed proposed changes that the discussion would be starting this month in finance, and encouraged department heads to be active members of those discussions. Follow-up from the employee survey on retention and satisfaction that we had done earlier. And I'm revisiting those results because a lot of it was very pointed to things within certain departments, or just I didn't get the information I was really hoping for out of this. There's going to be a follow-up survey coming with that. I did have a local apparel provider reach out and is going to design the county logo free of charge so that it is in her shop. If anyone, department heads sometimes have, shirts made with the seal and then the department name underneath it. I know Vistaprint does have our logo set up, but it's been cumbersome to do it with a local business because there's such a setup fee initially, and so someone reached out, Headco and Lena. They are putting it together at no cost, and we'll just have it on file if anyone does want to utilize them. So next Greater Freeport Partnership Board meeting is on the 30th.
Questions?
Oh, and we did have a guest at our department head meeting this morning. Chairman Helm said it on the meeting, so
Okay.
that was good to be part of the discussion, I think. So
I got a question on that asset listing. Do we have a process in place where, like, say we buy something and when we get it, do we send that information to you and then it gets put on right away? Or are we trying to do this once a year?
no, we have policy. Each department we have a file in Teams
Okay.
that each department has a tab in, and they can update it as things
Okay.
come in.
I was
So
thinking we had something like that, but it's like, oh, we're not trying to do it once a year, so.
we try to mention that periodically throughout the year. Remember, keep up on this, so it's
Yes.
not all of a sudden at
Just
the
don't
end of the
forget.
year is your
Forget
right.
what you bought,
Right.
Okay.
And of course, we'll have a lot of updates coming up with the printers and copier purchases too. So
IT stuff, yeah. Okay, very good, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, 7.5, IT manager.
I think as far as IT goes, we completed the Stephenson County EMA Sheriff's Department media room in the courthouse last month. I know he keeps saying it's not fully finished yet, but I think they're doing some stuff like with a counter in there and maybe carpet in the back office and such. But I believe from an IT standpoint, we're done with that. We're currently in the middle of the AOIC technology grant. So far, we've completed projects for the circuit clerk and probation. State's attorney's equipment will be here soon. It was on back order, and we'll get that knocked out as soon as it comes in. Courtroom 5, which is also the county boardroom, the updates, we have that scheduled now for the week of May 19th. New sound system, we're replacing the old TV that shows the seating chart. That's getting an updated panel and a few other additions in there. So I will probably be tied to the courthouse that week, working closely with CTI, making sure everything goes smoothly. Still have the telephone project to get scheduled and rolled out. Every department will be getting new phones. Our main phone system will be updated as our old system was nearing its end of life. So that'll be coming soon. I just got to get that on the books, and we'll probably do it by site, location, or department. So we're not going to get it all done in one day. So we'll schedule that as we get to it here. Elevator inspection is tomorrow. I showed up for one Tuesday because the dates got confused. So I'll be back in early tomorrow morning for the elevator inspection. Let me say, why does the IT guy have to come to the elevator inspection? Well, the elevator has cameras and phones in them and fire detection now, but there has not been a working phone on the elevator, I think, for like 3 years at least, maybe longer. So we got all of that squared away, which was no easy task. If you've ever seen the first floor networking closet, when you open that up, I think every phone line from the beginning of time is in there. So we had to trace those out from the elevator, and it truly was like stopping a timer before detonation because there's so many wires in there. I was trying to tray stuff all day. I was in there just trying to tone it out. Even pulled a few wires that wasn't the wire, but I'm assuming nothing was used because nobody called. So we finally got them. We got dial tone, and I just went ahead and did the other one they haven't started working on yet. So I believe that the phone lines are done. We still have to run an internet line to the back one, but if this passes inspection tomorrow, from what Stovall said, it'll run for 2 weeks just to make sure everything's good. And then once they get the 2 week sign off, they'll move on to the next project, which is the back one. So hopefully, I told the elevator guys nothing against them, but I hope I don't see them for a long, long time. The copy agreement, as Georgia said, was awarded to Access Systems out of Dubuque. So they will be starting the transition soon. And apparently there's a 4 to 6 week lead time on that for them to get the equipment in. I thought they said in the board meeting that they had it all and they could do it ASAP, but we'll just allow it to, there's nothing we can do about it now. So a few more projects that are coming up in the near future. I've got a huge circuit clerk server and storage upgrade. We're just doing a complete overhaul. She's about to run out of space because all their files are going electronic, and as you do that, you need storage to be able to house all those documents. So health department servers, they have 2, so we're going to be upgrading those. And then I've got new, more secure routers going in at Highway, the health department, and the county clerk's office, which will cover all the offices here at the Stewart Center. And I'm still mapping out how I want to configure the courthouse because we have multiple routers in there that I might be able to combine into one, and then have a backup in there in case one fails. It just fails over, and then we're safe as far as that goes. So I'm still configuring that on how I want that set up to be. So some things that have fallen by the wayside is the countywide Adobe contract. Haven't forgotten about it, and it's not all on me. I've tried contacting them, and it seems like when I have the time, they don't, or they ghost me, and then when I don't have the time, they try reaching out. So it's just kind of been tag. And the internet still is probably in the same status it was reported a few months ago. I technically could go live with it and give out a password, and there's quite a bit on there, a directory and a few different things that are useful, but I would say it's far from complete. And then the last thing we'll discuss is new business, but I'll bring this up now and we can discuss it further. We're up for our CrowdStrike renewal, which is next month. To keep our endpoint detection and virus protection and everything up to date. Well, in my meetings with CrowdStrike earlier this week, it was discovered that we probably qualify for the state program, which would then, we'd go through them and we wouldn't have to pay a dime. So I met with them in the state today, and there are some controls I'm giving up, but they're controls that I'm confident can be worked around. And so I don't have any alarm, and that's the contract I handed out, and we can discuss that under new business. But if we can save $45,000 and we're really not, it's kind of a no-brainer to me. And the only thing that we do give up is a little bit of, I give up a little bit of control, but I can work with their help desk on getting that access and stuff. So like deleting a machine, I'll just put in a ticket with them and they'll delete it because it's technically, their stuff that they're giving us for free, but it will protect our county, and then they're able to monitor it, which I thought was a good thing. People get leery when the state can monitor things, but what they can see is if Winnebago County gets hit with a virus, they can see it and they can implement stuff in our county that avoids us from getting it. They kind of use all that information and they can see where the cyber attacks are coming from, what area of the state they're really focusing on and how it moves. So I don't see any downfall to this in my meetings with them. So I do intend on pivoting from the contract that we have tonight. We were still going to vote. We can, I sent the contract to Carl for review as well, but basically if we can save that money, it makes sense. So that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, keep that in mind here as we get farther down. 7.6, report from the strategic planning effective government focus group.
We have not met since last meeting. Email was sent out with some proposed changes to the budget policy. I think we're waiting on feedback from that.
Okay, very good. All right, keep moving along here. There's no old business. New business is strike thing here, 9.1. So, you said Carl was,
Yes, I sent it to Carl for review. And the biggest reason I did it is one, to be transparent and to be nice, because I didn't see any reason not to sign this today. So I showed some discretion in waiting and following the protocols. But the biggest thing is that if we don't do it this month, then we're kind of up against it due to the renewal. So I tried to get the quote from CDW. And then in that process, I set up a meeting with DO-IT, which is the Department of Innovation and Technology for the state of Illinois. And we deal with Alex Lawton, who does our cybersecurity audits and things of that nature. So I reached out to him. He sent me this contract today. I printed out extra copies for review, just so you guys can look at it. But there's really, there's no onus on our part, right? We sign up, there's no matching money, there's no nothing. Like, they just take care of it as a way to help keep county government protected, and they gain data. By the more counties that join this, they can see who's attacking where, and like I said, they can build a defense of some sort, or help counties out if they notice that it's like moving in a certain pattern. They'll try to get fixes in before it even happens. So
since this, go ahead, Ann.
I was just gonna, do you have an idea of how many counties are already kind of set up with that system?
I don't. This originated out of county clerk offices because of the elections and voting. So originally, I think it was more so just a county clerk thing that they expanded to be full counties.
Okay.
So I do think it's in use. And again, it's the same product we're already using. So I'm confident in the product. And I do like knowing that we have an extra set of eyes watching the data too, because we still have CrowdStrike ourselves, and now the state cyber unit kind of watching over us as well. So the only downfall would be is I can't just go in and remove a machine. The second downfall is I have to take off all the CrowdStrike we have now and then reinstall it with the state's program. So that part's gonna stink. But for $45,000 and then the potential to not have to pay for it, if they just keep continuing, it makes perfect sense. So, I asked if there was any workaround for that, and unfortunately, we're on the one part that they can't convert over. So it's going to be a manual process, but we'll figure it out. They offered some of their IT to help facilitate that as well, so we'll figure that out.
So Chairman, since this is a grant, it has to go through the full board then?
Technically, yes,
That's what I thought. So
according to budget policy.
we'd say we could pass this.
Which the last one was going to be the same process, so we're just replacing it with.
Is there any match required on this?
We could pass this pending review and.
When's your deadline to have it in?
May. So we're ahead of it. That's why I did
Pass
it.
Through the board.
I did it a month early, so we'd have plenty of time.
Okay.
If we didn't do it this month, then we'd be like, because the meeting next month's like right up against the 21st. So that's why we did it a month early.
Did Carl know when he was gonna have this reviewed? By the next Thursday, maybe?
Carl just
I
texted
mean,
me.
there's not a whole lot here, so.
I'll look at. Looks good to me.
Is that what he said?
Yes. I didn't make that up. Right here.
Okay, I trust him.
Yes, looks good to me.
So I'll make a motion to approve and send it to the full board
I
Thursday.
second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. It's easy. Thank you. Good job, Nate.
Who's supposed to be on the other side of you?
No, and I'm always the end.
But
Oh, Steve
Steve's
Fry.
not here either, so we
I
have.
just wondered who we were missing.
I
You
just
and I
said
are
my
like
name was.
the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
So, okay, sorry.
Alrighty, 10.0, comments from committee members. Anything? No. Yes, Chairman.
I just wanted to make sure Adam and you, Larry, know that we're not having a special board meeting tonight.
Right.
Just to give you a little backstory to that, Monday, we really reached a critical tipping point when it came to cash flow or lack thereof for the nursing home.
Right.
And up until yesterday afternoon, we did not have funds enough to make payroll for the nursing home on Friday. And because of posting requirements, we called for the special meeting to do an interfund loan of $75,000 to just cover this week's payroll. We don't have to do that. They did get enough deposits to cover that, but just so everyone is aware, we literally have 35,000 in cash, and that's it. And we currently have 4 vendors who are threatening to terminate their agreement or litigate for payment or both. And it's really reached a point where not being able to pay vendors on time is putting the safety of those residents at risk, as well as the jobs of the employees out there. So hopefully we won't be revisiting this every 2 weeks for payroll, but it's about as bad as it's been.
So we still at that like 1.25, 1.3?
More than that, I believe.
More,
I
That's-
closer to 1.4.
1.4 now?
Well, it depends, if you're counting claims that we already know about or claims that are now starting to come in. So, yeah,
It's always a moving
It's
target.
if you're counting, what we did discuss is, and it was Administrator Perez's idea, when I'm cash flowing for the report that I send out, he wants us to include the next few payrolls, so we can see really how much more money we're short instead of just the one immediately in front of us.
Makes sense.
So yeah, if you do it that way, it is over 1.4 million.
With TCM being paid in full, and
Correct.
that was 300,000, give or take.
408.
408,000. And we have exhausted the entirety of the advance on the levy.
And I'm sure there'll be more talk about it tomorrow night, so, yeah,
Absolutely.
so, okay. All right, 11.0, public comments, nobody else is here, 12.0, adjournment,
I make a motion to adjourn.
okay, in a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks, everybody.
You.
That's exciting about it. That's right.